And indeed, we know the Russians did hack the DNC servers and got damning information on Hillary Clinton. We know that. We know that for a fact. And no one's really disputing that. So instead of going after, and we've had Russians indicted on this, but none of the indictments were really directly related to those activities, which is why people are led to believe that, hey, maybe the president's people weren't involved with that. But their contacts with Russia were suspect at best. I have a feeling the way it went down was that the Trump people were aware of it and they knew it was going to help them. So they didn't do anything about it. They just sat on it and didn't tell anybody. They didn't tell the intelligence community. They just let it happen. But if you have knowledge of that kind of thing and you do nothing to stop it, you're kind of an accomplice to that, don't you think? I mean, if I know somebody and someone says, hey, I'm going to go kill my neighbor, and they tell you that, and you don't like that neighbor that much, actually, and you're like, oh, okay, well, they're going to go kill him. All right. And they actually go do it. And you could have stopped it, but you didn't. Is that accomplice? Is that would that be considered a crime, or could you have plausible deniability, saying, I didn't think they were serious about it, or any of that kind of thing? What do you do? What do you do in that situation? And I would argue that obviously there is some implications there that says that maybe you do have some guilt, maybe not in a criminal sense, but definitely in a moral sense. And so this was a group of people that were going to do anything to win, including not stopping outside help. So they had knowledge of the dirt on Clinton. We know that because of the Trump Tower meeting. And we also know that because of other communications as well. And again, remember, Papadopoulos was the one that told the Australian that they had dirt on Clinton. And that's what kicked off the investigation. It wasn't the Steele dossier. It was somebody in Trump's campaign telling an Australian that they had this knowledge. Then they tipped the FBI off. And the FBI goes, well, wait a minute. They know a foreign adversary is getting information and doing these kind of activities, illicit activities, in an active presidential campaign, and they're not doing anything about it. One may make a reasonable conclusion that they may have something to do with it, because a reasonable person, regardless if it's going to help you or not, it's more about it's about something bigger than you. It's about the country. It's about our security. And if we're having Russians hacking into the computer systems of our most powerful politicians, even if it's campaign related, not necessarily related to government business, that's a serious problem. And then they use that information to their advantage to then create this narrative in the public's eye that ultimately largely swayed just enough people to either vote for Donald Trump or go to the polls and vote for Donald Trump that may have otherwise sat out the election.